So, students, our next topic is friction, a necessary evil. A necessary evil means it is having both advantages and disadvantages. So, first, we will talk about the advantages of the frictional force. First is it help us to walk. How? The friction between our feet and the ground help us to walk on the ground without slipping or falling, because there's a interlocking between our foot or the ground, due to which we feel easy to walk. If there is no friction, then we will not able to walk on the floor. Okay, so next is it help in stopping, holding, lighting a matchstick, writing and fixing a nail on the wall. Means all these things are only done with the help of the friction, students. Okay, like spiked shoes for better grip. As you know, the athletes are having spikes on their shoes, right? Why they are having spikes? Spikes are provided in the shoes of player and lead to increased friction, so that they have better grip on the ground and they do not slip. Okay, it also help in writing. When we write on the paper, there is an interaction between the paper and the pen. If the paper is having a smooth surface, then we are not able to write on the paper. As you know, we are having like the covers of our notebooks. Will we able to write on that which is having the polythene papers? No, we are not, right? Because that are having smooth surface, we are not able to write on that. Okay, so it's only friction due to which it's possible to write on notebook or on the green board, we can say. Okay, next is lighting matchstick. When the matchbox is having the two sides rough surface, right? On which we rub the matchstick, and matchstick also having on the tip a powdery substance which is stick to it, right? When you rub the matchstick with the matchbox, it produce heat due to friction. Okay, because force of friction, temperature of check, and the the chemical fire and produce flames. Okay, next is to fix nail and screws. A screw is having a tip, and the wall is having rough surface. When you insert it, if the wall is so smooth, and when you insert the nail, you can easily pull out even, right? The cemented area is having a rough surface, due to which the interlocking between the nail and the wall takes place, and it gives us a fine grip between the nail and the wall. Okay, students, we would not be able to construct any building without the frictional force, because if we will make the bricks with a very smooth surface, it will not possible to build a wall. Okay, so next are the disadvantages of frictional force. So first is the soles wear out, tires wearing out, stone step wears out, brake pads wears out, slows down speed, friction causes heat also. Okay, so these are the disadvantages. So first is the damage to the machines, or wear out the machines. When you rub your palm against one another, students, what happens? It generates lots of heat, and you feel heat in your palm, right? When the parts of the machines move or rub together, they produce lots of heat due to the friction between them. Okay, this heat damages the machine. Okay, next is soles wear out, or tires wearing out, stepstones wearing out. Friction causes lots of wear and tears in the parts of machines in contact. Okay, lifetime of machine is also reduced. Soles of shoes and tires of vehicles wear out with gradual use, therefore the worn out pieces have to be replaced from time to time. Okay, one disadvantage is also, students, reduces the efficiency of machines. Some of the force applied to run a machine is wasted in overcoming the friction, because it's moving parts. This reduces the efficiency of the machines. Okay, it also leads to noise pollution in certain cases. For instance, aircraft produce loud sound due to the resistance of air. Means this also produce a disadvantage of frictional force. Okay, students, cause fire in the forest. All these are the disadvantages. Students, next are the ways for increasing and reducing the friction. As we know, friction is one force which exists irrespective of the fact that an object is at rest or in motion. At time, we need to increase or reduce friction, right? For example, if we are playing carom board, it is important that the amount of friction on the board should be reduced, right? Some of you know use powder to reduce the friction when the carom board surface becomes rough, right? So that we can strike the dice easily. If we are lifting an object, the friction between our hands and object should be sufficient to protect the object from slipping down from our hand, right? So let's study some different ways used to increase or reduce friction. So first is the treaded tires. Treaded tires means tires are having little bit depressions. Okay, the tires are treaded so that they can have better grip with the ground and allows a smooth movement of the vehicle. Okay, so next is the shoes of the athlete should be studded so that they can have better grip with the ground and do not slip, which help in increasing the friction. Next is the kabaddi players whipping hands with sand. Why do kabaddi player rub their hand with sand? So that they can increase the friction between their hands and allow them to have easy grip of the opponents. Okay, when you rub the sand, your hand surface also become rough, and it also absorbs the moisture in your hand. So due to this, the friction increases. Straps of briefcases and bags should be comparatively rough to avoid slipping from our hands or from the shoulders. Gymnasts also apply chalk on their hands, which increase the friction and help them to have a better grip on the weights. Okay, these are the some ways of increasing friction, students. So next are the ways for decreasing the friction, how you can reduce the friction now. First is applying lubricants. Now what are lubricants? The liquids which reduces friction are known as lubricants. Okay, like oiling, applying grease on parts of machinery. These are the lubricants. Okay, these reduces friction and makes them work smoothly without any wear and tear. These also help in increasing the efficiency and less heat is lost. Okay, students, so you should oil or grease the hinges of the door so that they work properly, or your machines whichever you are using at home. Okay, so next is the use of ball bearings. Use ball bearings instead of non-moving metals to metal. Contact in fans and machinery further reduces friction, as sliding friction is transformed into the rolling friction. Okay, next is by adding wheels. You have studied in the previous slide even, the rollers reduces the friction between the bag and the surface as compared to the sliding friction, because the area of contact decreases due to the less wastage of the energy takes place. Okay, example I told you earlier, like friction in the game of carom board is reduced by putting powder on the board, which makes the striker move swiftly on the board. Okay, so this is all about the ways of increasing and decreasing friction, or the advantages and disadvantages of friction. Hope it is clear to you, students. So students, let's continue with our next topic, that is friction due to liquid and gases, that is fluid friction. So first of all, what is fluid? Fluid are those substances which have ability to flow. Fluid include both liquids and gases. Okay, when an object moves in a fluid, the fluid exerts a fluid friction upon the object. It is also called air friction when the medium of travel is air, and viscous friction when the medium of travel is water. Okay, so the frictional force exerted by fluids is called drag. Okay, students. Now first are the factors affecting fluid friction. Means what are the factors which affect the friction? First is the speed of the object with respect to the fluid. Okay, means with which speed, if a swimmer is swimming, and with which speed it's swimming. Okay, the nature of the fluid, its viscosity or tendency to resist the flow, like you are using water, honey, or something else. Okay, next is the shape of the object. What kind of shape is there on which the friction is exerting. Okay, so to move through the air or the water, objects are given some special shapes which is called streamlined shape. Now what is streamlined shape? The shape of a body or an object around which a liquid can flow offering minimum friction is called streamlined shape. Okay, why the objects are given special shape for the streamlined shape? Like aeroplane is having a streamlined shape which is taper at both the ends and wide in the middle, right? And birds we can say, or the swimmer, like fish swimmer swim in that shape, right? Why? When objects move through fluid, they have to overcome friction acting on this. Okay, in this process they lose energy, so efforts are therefore made to minimize friction, so the objects are given special shapes. Okay students, like here you can see in the picture, bird, aeroplane, or the fishes, they are all having streamlined shape, so they are experience less friction while moving through the water. When a swimmer swims in water, the water opposes his motion. This is because water exerts a force of friction on the swimmer, means in a direction opposite to its motion. Like if you are going in water from left to right side, okay, then the force of friction was exerted from the right side opposite to your motion. Okay, so hope this topic is clear to students. So thank you, have a nice day.